Hey, Mark here, and I have a really cool giveaway for you. I have five 4K UHD copies of The Naked Gun up for grabs, and if you'd like to win a copy of probably the funniest film of 2025, just shoot me a message and be like, hey, Mark, I love watching Liam Neeson drink coffee, and I would love a chance to win one of the Blu-rays because the movie rules. Bring home the all-new The Naked Gun on DVD, Blu-ray, and 4K now. See Liam Neeson like never before as Frank Drebin Jr. as he leads Police Squad in this outrageous comedy, also starring the iconic Pam Anderson. Buy the film critics are calling one of the funniest movies of the decade, and get nearly an hour of gut-busting extras including deleted scenes, outtakes, and more. Available at participating retailers, rated PG-13, from Paramount Pictures. Hello and welcome to Movies, Films, and Flicks. I am Mark Hoffmeyer, and joining me is a man who's going to be drinking 3 cups of perfectly sugared and creamered coffee during this episode. It's Jonny Numb.
I'm going to be doing that after I go to the grocery store and get some Brillo pads.
Jonny Numb.
Just five minutes. Yeah.
This is our feel good series. One of my favorite things I think I've ever done podcasting, writing. I love these episodes, and you send me movies, I send you movies, but you send me more movies. I'm slacking on that thing. But you sent me Clean Shaven, a Criterion Collection film, and it rules.
Yes, it does. It does.
Lodge Kerrigan. So I had watched Keen because I like Damian Lewis. So I had seen one of his films, but I had not watched Keen. Yeah, Keen's the name.
Yeah.
So I'd watched Keen, but I haven't watched Claire Dolan. Well, going through this movie, not only is Peter Greene an absolute revelation, and I feel like he got wasted in Pulp Fiction and The Mask, even though he's great. He's incredible in this. And this movie, 79 minutes, filmed $60,000 budget, Canada, New York, filmed over 2 years. It's awesome. So, why'd you send it to me? Like, what was on your mind when you sent it? Like, how does this fit into our feel good series?
I feel like there's a certain tonality to a lot of the movies that we choose to cover in this series, and oftentimes there's a definite level of discomfort and disquiet that at least I extract from the viewing experience. We've talked about Green Room, which is by all accounts a much more mainstream film than Clean Shaven, but it has that same level of tension, suspense, the WTF factor. What's going to happen? You don't know what's going to happen. A lot of these movies are really unpredictable as to what's really going on. I really like films that sort of hone in on a character, like Ethan Hawke in First Reformed. L, which is fantastic, unpredictable movie. Harvey Keitel and Bad Lieutenant, these tortured characters, who go through, they go to hell and back, and sometimes they make it through the other side, sometimes they don't. But I felt like this was another one of those films that the more we do this series, the more I try to ping pong ideas off my head. I'm like, what might Mark not have seen yet that I could send to him that would nestle in nicely with this little family of misfit movies we've been talking about for years now.
This movie rules. And I'm teaching production audio and post-production sound right now at the college I
Ooh,
teach at.
perfect.
And yeah, exactly.
Clean Shaven, everybody. Yeah.
Listen, that's what everyone talks about when they talk about Clean Shaven, right? But it's gorgeous. But also too, Jonny Numb, we love us on our tour. We've done Lars von Trier. We've done oh gosh, let's see, Jeremy Saulnier, Terrence Malick, Paul
Nicholas Winding Refn,
Sofia
Zoller.
Coppola, Park Chan-wook, Friedkin.
Damn, we've done some big
Verhoeven.
Damn.
Abel Ferreira.
Yeah.
Jonathan Glazer. Like we've tackled some serious tours.
Damn.
And so I was looking through our episodes, and we did House that Jack built. It's very violent and funny and dark and bleak. We
Hmm.
did A Butter Place, which is a super indie,
Yeah, yeah.
super indie kind of modern day sort of Badlands. Well, that was deeply influenced by that film. We did Only God Forgives,
Hmm.
hyper violent, hyper depraved film.
Super stylized.
Super
Yeah.
stylized Badlands, gorgeous. I mean, like all
Hmm.
about the cinematography. And I'm gonna just let me work like First Reformed. There's a lot of style to it, but it's so intense.
Hmm.
It's so like beautiful and where it goes, and the conversations are so brilliant, and it's so heightened. Zone of Interest looks gorgeous, but it's played so matter of factly, just to get you into that world. We've done Ghosts of Mars,
Yeah.
Virgin Suicides, all about loss, gorgeous. It's about like it's a very soundtrack dreamlike
Yeah.
film. We've
Yeah.
done Thirst, which is just vampires, gorgeous vampires, literally dragging you, sucking the life out of you because the movie's so crazy. The Devil All the Time, The Journey of
Oh,
Pastors, and
yes. Yes. Yeah.
Killer Joe, which is like heightened theatrical theatrics. It's
Hmm.
just funny and bleak at the same time. We've done let's see what else. Dragged Across Concrete, Heads Get Smushed,
Yep.
L, Verhoeven, classic Verhoeven, like Super Dark Times,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Bad Lieutenant, about faith and a cop and a bad cop. This one, though, might be the most immersive into a man's life. So we've
Yeah.
gotten like we spent a lot of time with the Bad Lieutenant. We spent a lot of time with L. We spent a lot of time with Gosling. But this one, you're in this man's world, and you
Hmm.
are in it, and the whole point of this film is to get you thinking about people who have been diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia, and put them in like Peter Greene in this movie, put you in their head place and exist with them. This
Hmm.
movie, of all the movies we talked about, this one is just so important because I don't know how many people watched it. I think a lot of cinephiles watched it. I don't think the
Hmm.
regular world watched it. But
Yeah.
compared to how schizophrenia has been seen on screen, this movie really brings empathy towards the character and how the cops deal with him and how locals deal with him. And
Hmm.
when he gets his moments of respite making coffee or sandwiches or tearing his fingernails out,
Yeah.
uh, it's a really gorgeous, grueling film that I think is important.
All of that is beautifully said, Mark. And
That's the
I
first time someone's ever said that to me, so I appreciate that.
I was like, man, he really juggled a lot there and he kept it all together. That's great. Yeah. I would have totally messed that up if I were trying to convey the same things you were trying to convey. No, I think I think what I like about this movie, one of the things I like about it, obviously, other than the insanely, pardon that use of that word, I'll just say incredibly oppressive and invasive sound design of the film, which is a huge part of it, but that plays into, I think, a feeling of subjectivity that comes with it. Like what Kerrigan is trying to do, obviously, is to try and, like you said, put us in this man's space, put us in his head, so to speak. And I feel like for the most part, you are seeing the movie, at least, or seeing the events of the film, at least when he's on screen, as he's perceiving them, more
Yeah.
or less. He's seeing something. Kerrigan wants us to see it as he's seeing it, or experience it as he's experiencing it, without a lot of I don't think he wants embellishment. Not he doesn't want the John Williams sentimental Jurassic Park score to lift us up at any moment.
This
Here.
isn't A Beautiful Mind.
No, it's not. It is definitely not a Hollywoodized sense of mental illness, which, despite how oppressive the film feels at times, I find that really refreshing about it every time I watch it. Yeah.
If sometimes I think I get you have to make this movie, you have to do what Lodge did.
Hmm.
When people start pulling their punches, it diminishes the neurological
Yeah.
the
The
correct word of it,
damage. Yeah.
or like the disease or whatever, whatever the word is for, the mental health aspect of it. Too
Yeah.
many people are like, oh yeah, it was solved because he got his daughter. No,
Mm-mm.
it does
Mm-mm.
not solve because but like it just shows how people deal with him when he's at a library looking for his daughter and he's probably off his meds, and this
Yeah.
lady's like, oh, he had dirty pictures and he was trying to get me, and then the cop is really just trying to frame him, because he's
Yeah.
like, no, it's him, it's this guy, it is this guy.
Yeah.
And like, when you watch this guy's life, eating a sandwich for him is horrifying.
Yeah.
His mom, and God bless her, she's an older woman in 1990 who grew up tough,
Yeah.
in cold Canada,
Hmm.
freezing. She very stern. They don't know what schizophrenia is,
Yeah.
and so she doesn't know what that is, so she's just stern to him. This is a guy who, the early 90s, there wasn't help for him,
Hmm.
and he can't articulate that. And but if you start doing something else, like if he meets Jennifer Connelly and she falls in love with him, this movie's over. It.
Yeah.
And I know
Yeah.
that's based on true story, Beautiful Mind
Mhm.
with it, but
Right.
and I'm not dogging on that, because it's based on true story. The guy did great things, but it's just, yeah, you that wins Oscars. This one wins the admiration of John Waters, Steven Soderbergh, Quentin Tarantino, like Quentin, like Peter Greene, so he put him in Pulp Fiction.
Oh, okay. All right.
Like this wins the admiration of people who see this and go, "This is a film, and this is an important film." But I have a question, John. Like,
Please.
watching this movie puts you in the headspace. The guy's in misery. The noises. The only time he can relax is coffee.
Hmm.
Um, it's kind of crazy. Like for me, I found my peace like boxing or whitewater
Yeah.
rafting.
Yeah.
I only like the only because at that moment the world doesn't exist. You are trying not to get punched in the face, or you're trying not to get hit by a rock or fly out of the thing. You're in the wave,
Hmm.
And I think that's why so many people like extreme sports, because you have to be in it,
Yeah.
in that moment. And so for this guy, he doesn't have any of that. He has coffee, he has
Hmm.
sandwiches, he has ripping out his nails. And I guess what I'm saying is, you make this movie and it's so intense and it's so incredible, but you're not going to get Beautiful Mind audiences. People
Hmm.
won't understand this. People
Yeah.
won't. Nothing's explained.
Hmm.
Like the sounds when there's a scene where he gets out of this, in the car he has, like,
Yeah.
stolen.
Where's the car come
Yeah,
from?
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
The girl screams when a ball bounces off his car, but then here's the thing: the girl screams, you hear all this chaos, but then there's a guy across the street being chill. Like
Yeah.
he's not even reacting. So it doesn't spell anything out, and it puts you in this mindset when you should be having empathy for it, but instead people are like, this is pretentious, this is dumb. We're like, so I feel
Hmm.
like I have a question. So I have a question. You're a director, Jonny Numb, and there's a cause that you care deeply about.
Hmm.
You can make one of the greatest indie films ever made that will impress 60,000 people. And those 60,000 people are a little bit more empathetic towards it because they understand that. Or you could make a $40 million film with watered down themes, but you Trojan horse a couple good ideas in, right?
Hmm.
Like ideas for everyone. They're like, that was great. Like you can be called, you can be, you can be cured from schizophrenia by meeting Jennifer Connelly.
Yeah, exactly.
Or, but if you sneak in a couple messages and that stick with 5 million people,
Hmm.
and you don't cure anything, but in the back of their minds they start thinking about things, wheels start turning. Which would you choose to make?
Mark, I think about this periodically, and unlike you, I am like really bad at follow through on stuff. So maybe this will inspire me to like actually write a script. What I and I've written scripts in the past that have not gone anywhere. But my thing is, it seems like as I get older, I need to be able to tolerate whatever I'm doing, whether it's something every day or something in my work. I need to maintain a level of honesty and truthfulness with myself, sort of with my whatever, my ethic, if you will, when it comes to what I'm doing. It's like when I write a review, I kind of have to be true to, the voice that my voice for it. And I think it's a long way of me going around saying I would do the more honest, low budget version that connects with, has less of a mass appeal to it, but those who see it would probably go away thinking a little more and maybe a little more at length than they would from the Oscar bait thing that's sort of Trojan horsing the more blunt force ideas to people, the more obvious stuff, and then sort of sneaking in some other stuff. Yeah.
I'd make Clean Shaven.
Yeah,
uh,
absolutely. This is the movie that I know I told you it was like I haven't seen A Beautiful Mind. I'll admit it. So I know there's a lot of
Listen,
already there's been a lot of there's already been a lot of referencing of that, which I'm like kind of like, oh, I don't want to see it. Really kind of don't want to see it now, but Oscars or no, but I'm like, this is what's interesting to me. This is not condescending to me. It's not trying to meet mainstream audiences, and this sounds condescending, on their level. It's saying this is the level this movie is on, and you kind of have to adjust your perception or your comfort level if you want to stick with it, and see it through. And if you do, if you don't turn it off like after 10 minutes or whatever, I think you'll be rewarded for the experience. It's disturbing, but it's worth the trip, I think.
listen, if I made a movie and John Waters put my movie on his top 10 of the year, I would. That's my Oscar.
Oh my God,
That's my
yeah.
award. Every year I scour that. Like I bought full time. I pick up a lot of movies from his top 10. I
Yeah.
love it. It's always good viewing, but I sometimes hate half measures. Now I'm very good at putting things in context. So when I watch Beautiful Mind, I'm like, did they Trojan horse ideas in? Because of course they can't be clean shaven. So I'm like,
Yeah.
did they? What is this? What is the budget? Who directed it? Who's starring in it? And by that means, what did they do well?
hmm
But I don't like half measures. I
Yeah.
don't. I think if you're making a movie called Super Dark, like imagine if House that Jack built pulled its punches. Like
Yeah.
get the.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna swear real quick. Like
Yeah.
get the fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? Like you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's my
You have
PG-13 for the episode, but it's get out of here. Like
mhm.
don't thirst. You know what our movies? You know what feel good series movies don't do? They don't pull their punches. Thirst doesn't pull its punches.
That's
Um,
that's that's another thing I like about this series. Yeah.
Yeah, none of these movies. Bad Lieutenant, like Abel Ferrara is not pulling his punches. First Reform, Schrader's not pulling his punches.
No.
So,
No.
even Virgin Suicides, Coppola filmed it gorgeously, and she's
hmm
not pulling. So I'd rather watch that. I think I just don't like Killer Joe. Imagine if that movie didn't have the chicken wing scene. Like you gotta
Oh,
have
yeah.
that. And
Yeah.
and this movie is wonderful because it doesn't pull its punches, but there's so much empathy to it.
hmm
And I don't think it's exploitative at all. I think it puts you in there. Now, I have no experience with schizophrenia. My dad had a roommate after my parents got divorced. My dad had a roommate. His name was Rod, and he had schizophrenia, and he'd be like, when I change, my bird knows, and my bird starts yelling. So he's like, if you hear my bird yelling, you probably don't want to be in the house. And he
Uh,
told me that when I was like 11. So schizophrenia, I was like, ugh.
wow. Wow.
I don't think there was a bird in the house though.
So was the bird a metaphor for
No, I
something?
think he just heard the
Because
bird.
he heard a bird. Okay. All right.
And because when you're 11, you're like, all right, if the bird goes off, I'm out of here. But then I remember my whole life was like a blur back then. But I remember
Mhm.
him clear as day in this weird Florida apartment in St. Petersburg telling me this story. And like, so that, and like, like, what about Bob? Rosa red, Violet's blue. I'm a schizophrenic, and so am I. Like, those are
hmm
the experiences I had. So watching this, it really does add so much more empathy because he tries it. Obviously Lodge doesn't know what's going on in people's heads, but I feel
hmm
like the noises, the calm, the people, the like, there's no respite in
Yeah.
sight. And I think at least something that puts you in that mindset of someone who suffers from that helps you with empathy,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. And it takes a lot of the fear away from them. And I found this study, Jonny Numb. I was like, I'm just gonna do a lot of research
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Oh wait, something went wrong. Well, Psychiatry Online, they did a study where they had strict rules, and they researched how many movies did they pull? 41 movies were identified. They didn't count Donnie Darko and a couple other
Hmm.
movies because they don't adhere strictly to schizophrenia, but they averaged 41 of them, and
Uh.
all of them basically basically all of so like a total of 42 characters met selection criteria for schizophrenia. And then the results are that they is it results, let's see, what did they say? Most of the time they're just saying there's violence involved.
Yeah.
There
Yeah.
is like there's always going to be some form of violence, or there's always like Criminal Minds or schizophrenic characters. And so growing up, when you watch these movies, I think they said that 90% of these films featured someone with schizophrenia engaging in a violent act.
hmm Yeah.
and which is kind of crazy. Even though they gave a shout to Clean Shaven, and they said that there are some of these movies provide a realistic and sympathetic representation of the numerous challenges encountered by people with schizophrenia. And then they wrote the day-to-day struggles to cope with symptoms, and Clean Shaven was included in there.
Hmm.
So I found that to be interesting. So not only do most of these movies showcase violence in a certain regard or make them seem like they will be into unpredictable behavior or violence. So yeah, 35 displayed some form of violent behavior towards others, and
Wow.
13 engage in homicidal. So, but if you think about it, jocks are terrible. Like it's Hollywood. They bastardize everything. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
it doesn't matter what you have. Hollywood's going to be terrible about it because they
Yeah.
have no idea what they're doing. But I
I
just find this to be really
yeah.
interesting. And Clean Shaven got a shout for being like this is called psychiatric services online, but they
Hmm.
gave Clean Shaven a shout for like how hard it is to struggle day to day with schizophrenia. And I'm obviously an armchair
Yeah.
quarterback researcher. I know nothing about this, but I did feel that this wasn't exploitative or pulling its punches.
Yeah, that's what I took away from that as well. I maybe read the synopsis of the film before I saw it for the first time because it was a like me giving it to you, it was a blind buy when I got it. And I eventually got around to watching it and I was like, it wasn't what I was expecting at all. And some of it was because Peter Greene got, after this movie, he got cast as like the heavy in almost every,
Everything, every movie.
every like Under Siege 2, he plays like a guy. The Usual Suspects, The Mask, The Rich Man's Wife, he's always playing this sinister bad guy, who a violent, sinister guy. And it's like you watch this and then it's like I get where those filmmakers were thinking when they cast him, but I was like, this is a comparatively, it's a much more sensitive, like you said, almost sympathetic performance from him. You can see that this guy is tortured. You brought up the great example of the coffee ritual
Mm.
blocking out the sound of the construction equipment behind him. Like when he's looking at that coffee, he's not hearing the sound of the crane in the landfill right behind him. It's only when you cut away to the shot looking at him at the table with it behind him that you actually
Yeah.
that it's actually heard. And I didn't notice that till this time around. So,
Yeah, you don't see it until they show you it.
yeah,
And that's brilliant filmmaking because it's like it is in his head. Oh no, it's right behind him.
yeah, yeah.
And he's
So
not
that
looking
this,
at it. Yeah.
yeah, that's something that's not in his head right now. And the pervasive, like the hypersensitivity kind of the crackling, the buzzing electric of power lines and stuff. There's almost like this propulsiveness to the way Kerrigan shoots it. Like, okay, he gets in the car and he repeats this motif repeatedly throughout the film. He gets in the car, he starts driving. Kerrigan cuts away to like overhead shots of power lines rushing by and radio static and radio noise of like hostile voices on the radio that are talking about paranoia or talking about violence or whatever. So I almost feel like there's these weird little not anticipating actions, but just kind of like I don't know, maybe foreshadowing certain aspects of the plot, even though it seems very discordant and disconnected, kind of the way the imagery is and the sound design is presented. It's very jarring. The way the film is edited, it's very
Yeah.
like, where are we going to be next? We don't know where we're going to be next because it's we have kind of an unreliable narrator. I
When you
mean,
when you watch movies, Johnny, do you let them wash over you and you just absorb what's happening, or do you kind of look for clues and go, okay, they said that, so I'm gonna look for that? Like, how do you watch these movies?
I will tell you how I watch movies when I watch them for this when I watch them for this series. When I'm actually taking notes on stuff, I start drawing connections more. However, this is probably maybe my third or fourth time watching this movie. The other three times, I'm just sitting there having an experience.
Yes,
I'm
yes.
like that's why I'm kind of like I get annoyed. This is maybe one of the reasons why I go to movies by myself is actually I don't like it when you go to a mystery or a thriller or something like that, and I can't stand people who are like trying to guess the outcome of a thriller or a mystery, and they're like whispering in your ear or whatever. It's just like it just ruins it for me. I just want to take in the experience, which is, what I like, what I like in quotes about, clean shaven is it's a very it's very immersive, between the imagery and the sound design. It's definitely an experience.
I just let him hit me. Like I just let
Yeah.
the house that Jack built hit me. I don't
Hmm.
look for anything. I don't look for metaphors. I don't look for allegories. I don't look for Easter eggs. I just let a movie hit me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
this is one of those films I really enjoyed just being hit by.
Yeah.
And also I like how little Kerrigan makes Peter at the end.
Hmm.
Peter, and when he rips open the bag and there's a shoe and it's just the stuff that ripped out and he's laying there bleeding, talking to his doctor, and he had just or his daughter, he buried his
Daughter.
daughter in sand, and
Yeah.
they're laughing, but then he starts telling him about chips in his fingers and his brain. Like he's
Yeah.
not fixed, but he wants his daughter. He wants this kid. And Kerrigan just, man, between this and Keen, he really punches you in the stomach with kid stuff. But
Yeah.
they, I don't know. I loved getting this. I love having this film wash over me. But also when there's lines where he's like, "I'm killing people out there." Remember when he says that?
Yeah, I think he said they're killing people
Oh,
out
they're
there.
killing. Oh yeah, they're killing people out there. And
Yeah.
he's like, they're killing people out there. And the screaming noises of the girl. And when he's cutting his nail off, this how his eye is just focused and not there's no pain. So I'm kind of thinking like, what is happening here? But I
Hmm.
also knew how driven that cop was and how he had that weird subplot with the lady and like girl,
Yeah.
these are the I don't understand that. Like John, can we like why do we have that? Why does he hook up with the woman? Why who
I,
what why?
this movie, as I was watching it this last time, it was starting to actually mess with my head and my perception because I was like, is this story being told in order? Because some of this stuff seems awfully abrupt and out of place, especially with the cop, all of a sudden ingratiating himself to the the adoptive mother of Nicole. And I'm like, what, where does this come from? All of a sudden, he's taking her to the hotel and having sex with her, and I'm like, and the cop seems like he's got screws loose too.
Mm-hmm.
The whole over the shoulder shot where he's in the car near the end, like
You hear buzzing.
yeah, he takes out his gun and he does this like really awkward, he awkwardly kind of angles it towards the windshield like he's getting ready to, it's like he's rehearsing to kill Peter's character
Yeah.
almost. I don't know how he knows where Peter is. Maybe the mother, the adopted mother mentioned something to him. But it's very very bizarre. Yeah, it's like so it's not, the issues aren't limited to Peter Greene's character, I don't think, but Kerrigan also keeps anything definitive very, keeps it very obtuse, very amorphous with that.
Well,
So
like they call the detective up, no saliva. Those didn't match.
yeah, the
This
the the blood in the hair. Yeah.
Yeah, none of this matched.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, well, it has to be. Like he's like, this guy's got it. This guy's the one who did it. This guy is
Hmm.
the serial killer. But I
Yeah.
think that's Kerrigan making a point where people just assume this man has done it. This kind of guy who puts newspapers on his car and
Yeah.
does all that. He's the one who did it.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think he's making a point there. And they give you enough to know that this cop is just on the loose.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like, remember, he shoots the shotgun to make it seem like Peter did it. And at the bar later on, he's kind of thinking about how he was wrong.
Yeah.
But then the noises start going in his head. You start hearing the buzzing for that. It's,
And he also has that little flashback to the guy who robbed the bar earlier
yeah,
in the movie, like cursing and what the random guy, shirtless guy who comes in with the shotgun and
1990s Toby Kebbell.
oh, is that who that was?
No, I just, he looked like Toby Kebbell.
I was like thinking, is that Adam Goldberg or something? But yeah. But
That would have been a perfect, or Nicky Cat,
yeah, I know that they all kind of look the same, so they all
Jeremy
would
Davies,
they all would have
Giovanni Ribisi. This is one of those guys. The cast of Dazed and Confused.
Yeah, exactly.
Sans, well, actually, McConaughey runs in there. Well, all right.
All right, all right,
Give
all
me
right.
that money, bartender.
Give me the money. All right, all right,
All
all
right,
right,
all
all
right. What are you
right.
looking at over there?
Give me that money and a shot of wild turkey.
Yeah.
Yeehaw. And then
And
Ben Affleck's like, yo, bro, give me your money and give me that donut. Give me that Dunkin' Donut.
all right,
Sorry.
you give me that money and you give me a bucket of fried chicken. All right, all right, all right.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, keep some for yourself. Here's a tip. And he leaves like a 50 on. All right. You get home safe now. And then the lady sitting at the bar is like, I'm going with him.
I think I did I it wasn't you, it was another friend of mine who was like I said to him, we were talking, and he was talking about like sort of the coming of age movies he liked, and he was like, oh yeah, Dazed and Confused is great, and I hadn't watched it, and I had the DVD like from a library sale, so I went home that night and I watched it. I was like, yeah, this really is a good movie.
It
I was, I
is.
was, I was, I was like, I was thinking it would just be like, oh, it's the 70s or whatever. I'm not going to be able to relate to it because I'm out of that. But it's sort of like the same as Freaks and Geeks, kind of that same vibe. Just
Linklater.
all those colorful characters, and you knew it's like you knew at least most of those people in high school. So
Yeah.
yeah, Ben Affleck's such a douche. Yeah. I was like, I'm glad he kind of got what was coming to him in that movie.
Yeah,
So,
I did. And
yeah.
then Peter Greene drives by. Peter Winter drives by in the background. His car's all done up.
And Ben Affleck's like, turn around. Why don't you look at me? Turn around. Why don't
You're gonna get a whipping.
you...
This is a Criterion film, Clean Shaven, and
Yes.
Affleck's Armageddon commentary on a Criterion disc is a thing of legend as well.
I haven't heard that commentary.
If you can hear the best of clips of it online, and
Okay.
he's just going off on it. But can we talk about this from a filmmaking perspective? I mean, this
Please,
this took
please.
2 years to film. And
And I didn't know that. So yeah.
like Peter Greene started shooting this movie. He auditioned with no headshot, no anything. So
Wow.
he gets the role, but then he went and shot another movie. And then that movie was released. That movie was released like before this movie was even finished.
Wow.
Yeah, so I mean Peter Greene, he's been at it for a long time. And so like when he was making this, I'm going back in time here.
Hmm.
Yeah, so he did what Laws of Gravity.
Okay, I've heard of
So
it.
so
Yeah.
like he got Clean Shaven, then he made Laws of Gravity, and then Laws of Gravity came out. And so he was still getting roles when they were shooting this. And
Hmm.
so they had to shoot all the stuff with the daughter first because obviously she would age really quickly. But a lot of
Yeah.
stuff with Peter Winter, he kept coming back for this, and I
Yeah.
think that's pretty. Going back to this role can't be easy
Hmm.
because it's small crew. I think some DPs had to leave. Like I think he said he was happiest when he had like 6 people there shooting on
Hmm.
set. This is not a film that you have a big crew on. Like
Hmm.
I feel like when Coppola makes his movies, he'd rather have 6 people there than everybody,
Yeah.
because he just wants to make what he wants. But yeah, Lodge said he was happiest with this small amount of crew. He shot a lot of footage, and he was just trying to find it. He said something really interesting that's quite motivating. He's like, I could have been writing this movie for years and never shoot it, so I just decided to go shoot it.
Hmm.
And so he had to do a lot of reshooting, and he had to raise money, and he met a random guy who saw a short film, and he gave him some money, but that wasn't all the time. And so he cast his family. He went to his hometown in Canada. He relied on family, and he slowly put this thing together because he thought, I could write this over 2 years, or I could shoot it over 2 years. So he
Hmm.
went and made it. And I think, like I was checking out the awards for this, and this went to Cannes. This
Hmm.
went at the 94 Cannes. It won a special prize. It
Okay.
won, let's see. I got it here. I got it. I don't know, but it won no, I don't want to say I hate when I say I don't know. Here we go.
It's not the audacity and daring or a certain regard.
So it was the Golden Camera he got nominated for.
Okay.
And then in the Independent Spirit Awards, he won Someone to Watch award, and he not was nominated for Best First Feature. But that was the year Clerks was out, and Spanking the
Uh,
Monkey, and
damn,
Pulp
yeah.
Fiction, all that stuff. At
Hmm.
Sundance, he won. He was a nominee for Grand Jury Prize for the dramatic thing. So he this is I think if you're a filmmaker and you want to go make a film, this is really interesting what he said. Just go do it. He's like, I could, and it doesn't work for everybody,
Hmm. Yeah.
and it could go
Yeah.
terribly wrong for a lot of people because it's nice to have a roadmap when you make something.
Yeah.
but I just thought that was interesting. He's like, I could have overthought this for 2 years, but instead I shot it and it took me 2 years. So I really enjoyed that. I thought that was cool. And I think it's quite motivating for people to go out and create. Like I'm trying to write a book right now, and
Yeah.
I'm learning that I'm learning it as I write it. But if I sat there and I tried to, okay, I got to research and I got to do this and I got to make it perfect, I'll never do it. I'll just
Yeah.
talk myself out of it.
Yeah.
But I'm enjoying finding it, and it's going to take me a while, but I'm finding it and I'm in it and I'm thinking about it. And every time I see a creature feature, I'm like, oh, that could be involved. So it's just good to. I think it's just nice to be like, listen, just start something.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you can make this. And man, I don't know. He without Peter Greene, no, I don't know if this movie works though, because this is one of those revelatory movies that when you watch Judgment Night or Under Siege 2, you're like, man, this guy can act. Like,
Yeah.
let this guy act. He's not doesn't have to be the heavy all the time. He doesn't have to watch gimps
Yeah.
attack people. Like this guy can act.
Yeah, no, it was like I said, it was kind of like in reverse that I saw this movie, because I'd seen all of those 90s movies that
Yeah.
he'd been cast in that were extremely mainstream movies where he was just like, shooting a gun or whatever, or doing terrible things. But coming to this, like I was like, oh my God, he's got like definite dramatic range, definite chops. He's capable of playing a character who's not just a kind of like shooting, just like saying tough guy lines and waving a gun around. He can do the thing. It's like he's trying to, like, I don't know what to say. Like he's trying to reassimilate himself into this
Yeah.
world, but he has this one goal. It's to reconcile with his daughter, who was put up for adoption, because he, the mother says, have you ever watched your son deteriorate?
Deteriorate.
And while I was listening to that, I was like, yeah, based on how you interact with him, I'm thinking maybe there was some unhappiness in that childhood that contributed to the way he turned out. But
He didn't get hugged.
no, no. She was like, "Oh, he was very quiet, but he was happy." Well, did you ask him if he was happy? Did you know he was happy?
Well, young kids don't speak until spoken to.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
oh my gosh, yeah. When she said that to the and the daughter had and Nicole hadn't even said anything,
Yeah.
and the grandmother is like, "Oh, that's it's like, oh,
And Nicole's
jeez."
like, she doesn't like me. And
Yeah.
the adopted mom's like, no, 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 she likes you. She likes you.
And and then there's that bombshell where the adopted mom's like, "Well, I'm your mother," and she says, "No, my mother's dead," just matter of factly, And it's like there's something I like the girl who played the daughter was like she was, and I have a feeling Kerrigan was like she saw kind of the it thing in this girl because she has a little bit of an unusual face and the
It's his
del
cousin.
oh, it is
Yeah.
okay. And I'm like, and it's like her line delivery is like intentionally flat.
Yeah.
It's very like disaffected. But you can tell she's like taking information in and she's listening and she is affected by stuff. But it's just like Peter. It's kind of like she's kind of a closed book in a way. You can't.
Hmm.
It's hard to infer things from Nicole, sort of like it's hard to really understand what's going on inside Peter's mind outside of the clues that, Kerrigan gives us through the sound design and through the imagery.
I mean, she starts hearing static at the end. And it,
Well, you know what a transmitter is? It's like a radio.
yep.
So
Uh,
Nicole to daddy, Nicole to daddy, which
oh
is
man.
it's kind of heartbreaking
Yeah.
at the end there. Yeah.
And like males typically what late teens to early 20s, and then females late 20s to early teens. So learning what happened to Peter, like he was a smart kid, he went to college, but
Hmm.
then in his late teens he started to develop the symptoms. And like, I don't think anybody was there for him. He went and
Yeah.
moved on a boat,
Yeah.
and he probably met a woman, had a kid, like, and it just deteriorated, and then he got put in an institution. it's
Yeah.
it's quite
Yeah.
tragic. And then he gets out and he has no way to cope. His mom's charging him rent,
Hmm.
10 bucks a day. She's giving
Yeah.
him the worst sandwiches possible,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
this cop wants to kill him.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just shows what happens when you're out there. And even the room he was in was terrible. And like when he, you know
Yeah.
what's crazy? When he was in the institution, he's just in the corner, just crying, depressed. When he gets home to his mom, he just lays in the bed and starts crying
Yeah. Yeah.
because she's terrible.
And then it's like it doesn't, that's something I really like about Kerrigan is that he doesn't spell out like it's like Peter doesn't get to his mom's house and mom comes out and says, "Hi Peter, it's your mother.
It's
Come
been
on in for
17 years.
Yeah, exactly. Come on in for sandwiches, Peter." That's what the Hollywoodized version
I'm
would
your
do.
brother. I've
Yeah.
been your brother for 24 years. We fought together in Vietnam and we got back. We went our own ways. You got married, had 2 kids. I got into a life of crime. 2 years later, I got better with my life. You divorced your wife. Now I'm married to your wife and I'm raising your children. And then you're dating my old girlfriend. We both work at the Mazda dealership. And you know what? You just got made assistant manager. I'm the general manager. You live 2 doors down from me. We played basketball yesterday. Our mom is dead. Our dad's barely hanging on. Our cousin's still alive. I drive a Buick. You drive a Ford. Your middle name is Billy. Sorry. I
My
hate that
middle name
dialogue, Johnny Numb.
my middle name is Buzz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hate that dialogue so much.
And it's
I just went off, but
you know no no
I think you
I,
just dislodged something in me that had me do
I,
that.
I was gonna say, did I cut the transmitter out of your head, Mark, with that? Yeah.
I hate that dialogue. So brother, like, oh gosh, guys.
Yeah, just that overly explanatory BS. It's a difference when you're actually a good writer and can make something out of that. And there are, you know, many talented writers in Hollywood and elsewhere who can really make dialogue like that into something more than just explaining everything, explaining the themes, explaining the feelings and emotions,
We've
Yeah.
known each other, Johnny Numb. We've known each other for so many years.
And Mark, you drag me across concrete for so long, Mark. And
But yeah,
I want you to know my face still hurts from being dragged across concrete.
well,
This isn't it's not a metaphor.
that's what happens when I have to listen to you eat a sandwich for 14 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
but
gonna get my salt shaker out and just salt my sandwich there. Yeah. Yeah. Some depressing ham with German mustard in Peter's mom's house.
oh gosh, just flies on everything. But yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't want to hand you everything, and it ends sadly.
Hmm.
And I think the problem, and you know, it's a short movie because Kerrigan said he doesn't want you to be miserable for 2 hours.
Yeah.
And
Which is smart.
that's why I love Black Bag so much. It's beautiful and it's 90 minutes. And you're not miserable watching that, but he's like, I don't want to make people miserable for that long.
Hmm.
And so you just got to invest yourself in this. And this is almost this would be an interesting movie to watch with like some really nice headphones and
Oh
just
yeah. Yeah.
pick that up. And I guess there's themes to explore about how marginalized and how ill prepared a lot of people with mental health are when
Hmm.
they're released into the general populace, and how people don't understand mental health.
Hmm.
But also it doesn't give you enough, and it kind of ties itself up nicely. So I think, I don't know, this is a movie that I was really never in doubt with anything. I just enjoyed it, and I felt
Hmm.
that Peter Greene was excellent, and I really enjoyed the sound design. And sometimes there's like 15 tracks rolling
Oh,
during
I
this,
believe it. Yeah.
and it's just, I'm so glad you sent this to me, Johnny Numb. This movie rules.
Oh, you're welcome, Mark. I'm glad you liked it. Yeah. It
I said
like
something
it.
beautifully
Yeah.
from the
Yeah.
beginning.
Yeah, you did.
And
You did.
you did unleash a transmitter in my brain with that terrible dialogue. But you know what though?
Yeah.
Sorry, I just want to say, people use mentally anguishing and draining. I didn't get zapped by this. This movie didn't
Hmm.
drain me in a way that Thirst did.
Yeah.
Right? This movie just made me feel sad,
Hmm.
if that makes sense,
Yeah.
because of just how prejudiced, like how brutal these cops were, and how the judgments. And I got pissed during that librarian. Yeah, he came at me, and he had all the
Oh, well,
um,
it's like she said, the cop's like, did he hurt you? And she's like, well, no, but I think he could have hurt
yeah,
me,
he was looking at me like he wanted to.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then she's
I
like, you can come over to my house later. This guy's just pulling, by the way,
I
in this
I am
film.
I am like, what is going on here? I mean, he's not that good looking. What's going on here? That this is such a small place. Yeah.
Oh, another thing. I read the essay for this movie that comes with
Oh yeah.
they said that it's not voyeuristic, and I agree. I
Hmm.
think there are movies that are very voyeuristic. This isn't one of those, and I like that it's not sentimental. I like that's not exploitative. I like that
Hmm.
it's not sensational. But you know what the problem with that is? When you don't do that, this movie made 20,000, was picked up by Criterion. Great directors love it, but I had never heard of this film.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it kind of sucks when someone makes such a great film that basically you have to get from your buddy Jonny Numb when you're doing a series called Feel Good to learn about.
Yeah, yeah, that's it's kind of depressing in a sense of, when, to go back to Ron Howard and Akiva Goldsman, get their Oscars for Russell Crowe and Jennifer Connelly, playing Hollywood mentally ill. So, I get that. And I it is kind of a drag that this film is not more well known, despite even the Criterion influence on things, or that Kerrigan, I feel, isn't as, I don't want to say prolific, but as well known a director. I mean, I actually watched Keen like a week ago, and Claire Dolan is apparently very hard to come by, at least on disc. So I'm not sure if
Yeah, you
it's
gotta watch on like
streaming.
Video Motion, Daily Motion, or something. But I
Daily
wasn't into
Motion.
that.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just kind of like it's you can get we could do a whole show about how there's no justice in the cinema world.
But I guess if you make this though, that's the luxury of making a $60,000 film
Mm,
over 2 years.
hmm.
Cannes appreciated this film. Sundance, the Independent, Spirit Awards, Tarantino. So Soderbergh has a commentary on the Clean Shaven DVD disc,
Yeah, yeah,
and so I think people clearly, John Water, like people clearly were taken with this film. But yeah, it's not a movie where you're just not get, and it also got drowned out by the sheer number of independent films in the
yeah.
90s.
That was at the time of the explosion of like
Yeah.
Kevin Smith and Tarantino and yeah,
Yeah. There were
many
no
others.
discussions about 37, what's being sucked, and
Hmm.
Star Wars. Like this wasn't clean shave. Like that wasn't that
Right,
movie.
right,
Uh,
exactly.
and so, it's frustrating, but also it's understandable. And that's sad, but I think that's the reality. If you make something like this that isn't voyeuristic, that isn't sensational, that isn't exploitative, that doesn't have a swelling score,
Yeah.
that doesn't have a Oscar-winning actor, that doesn't have a prolific actress, you probably will get lost in the shuffle,
Hmm.
which is a bummer. But I guess you just gotta, I mean, think about this podcast. We do well, but we're not exploitative. We're not sensational. We don't have huge opinions. The only categories for films are film history, film reviews. I feel like this is more of a film discussion
Yeah, yeah.
thing. So I'm never going to be, this is MFF is never going to be one of the biggest podcasts, but it's kind of, well, it's well respected. It's on a bunch of lists.
Hmm.
Um, people like it. It's well reviewed, but I'm fully happy that I don't think it'll ever take off. And I'm fine with that. So maybe Kerrigan, that's the way he feels. Like he made films that are respected, and he's fine with that, if that makes sense. Cause I don't want to be big Johnny Numb. I don't want to be
Well,
sensational. I don't want to have hot takes. I don't want to say stupid shit. So I guess I'm happy with not being it'll never ever ever be a major player, but I think it'll be respected, and I'm happy with that.
and maybe to that end, Mark, and I agree 100% with what you're saying here, because I think it kind of goes back to the conversation we were having about, well, would I rather do the $60 million mental illness movie that gets a lot of Oscar attention and a lot of people feel good at the end because whatever, it was a happy ending. Schizophrenia was cured for everybody, but you know but I think about, the clean shaven version of that, and how it's it's like that's what's going to connect with the people who are willing to connect with it. And I guess I can't I wish I could say that better. But it's like, I think another aspect of the Feel Good series is some of the content of the films we deal with is sort of could be considered controversial, or the treatment of certain subjects. I know S. Craig Zoller is a controversial figure for how he does certain things in his movies.
I mean, there's a
Even
boob wallet in House that Jack built.
yeah, I was like even Von Trier, Refn
Oh gosh.
has come under attack for certain things in his oeuvre, and even Schrader for that matter. So I think a lot of what we talk about in this series comes down to our it's sort of like, do you want to step into that pool, kind
Yeah.
of? Do you want to engage with what's there? It's like it's all about the willingness to kind of engage with the potentially difficult subject matter or characters, or outlooks.
Well, Johnny
That's
Numb, where can people find you, my friend?
you can find my writing on movies and just whatever's going on in my life that I feel like writing about over at johnnynumb.com. There are no H's in that. There's no H in that Johnny. You can also find me over on Blue Sky, at johnnynumb.bluesky.app, or however you do the handles over there.
It's Blue
Yeah.
Sky without an H.
Yeah, Blue Sky without an H. So,
It's
so
funny.
that
Sometimes I tell people it's Hoffmeyer with one F, two E's, and they're like, "What does that mean?" Because people always spell it
oh,
Hoffmeyer.
I could see that. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
just a lot, though. Like, what's that scene in Bowfinger when everyone gets one-liners, but then he's like, "You're going off a cliff, Cliff." He's like, "His name's Cliff. He fell off a cliff. It's cerebral. No one gets it." So that's what one F